faktum är att det här är verkligen det första, för vi har inte kört det första i Sverige än, så att Norge är först igen. Det är vi vana vid från skidor och annat. Och som Lena sa så är det så att idag kommer vi köra rätt mycket på engelska. Men jag börjar lite grann på svenska, sen kommer vi lämna över till Amar som kommer berätta väldigt spännande saker runt Infor OS och de delarna som man kan utnyttja där i sin cloud-presentation. Och här ser ni så vi har satt upp det. Vi har den här inledningen som vi just nu kör, och sen så kommer då Amar köra sin presentation som är ungefär 40 minuter. Och sen avslutar man med lite frågor och lite allmän information runt höstens stora teknikevent M3 Connect. Till att börja med så har vi ju den här, tycker vi, väldigt trevliga bilden med väldigt mycket logos numera på kunder som är på väg in eller redan igång i vår multi-tenant cloud-miljö. Och faktum är att även här under sommaren, vi har inte vilat på lagarna, utan vi har en ny logo som ni som är uppmärksamma kanske såg, Scanbio, som har kommit till, ett företag som ingår i Lantmännen. Och sen så tänkte jag nämna lite grann runt Saint-Gobain, för det är lite speciellt också när det gäller det. Jag tror vi har någon representant ifrån Saint-Gobain idag också, just det stora jobbet man gör där inom organisationen och konsolidering. Men om vi börjar med Scanbio, så är det ett företag inom förädling av trädbränsle, egentligen mycket automatiserat bolag inom Lantmännen, och som inte har ingått i det stora projektet vi kör med Lantmännen, utan har legat vid sidan om på en Microsoft-plattform. Men nu har de blivit sugna på att följa med oss, så att även de nu är på väg in i M3-världen. Och det tycker vi naturligtvis är jättekul. Om vi kommer gå över till Saint-Gobain, så som jag vill bara nämna där då, som ni ser, då är det ju en verksam när det gäller den här så förekommer i flera, och det här vi har inlett. Det rör ju framförallt Sverige, Norge och Danmark än så länge. Och det man har gjort där också, det är att man har konsoliderat, så att inom Saint-Gobain i Norge till exempel, så ser ni här har vi ju flera stycken olika företag, varumärken, som man tidigare har separat egentligen har haft en separat verksamhet under samma paraply. Men nu går man in då under samma, som man då kallar för Saint-Gobain Distribution Norway, eller som ni kommer att se väldigt mycket SGDN, är väl den förkortningen man använder. Och det här är de då varumärkena som är lite mer kända i Norge, antar jag. Och inte minst så är det så att de här har ju varit på framfötterna länge när det gäller digitalisering. Så ni ser att de har fått ett fint pris inom just det digitaliseringsområdet inom Saint-Gobain-koncernen. Och då pratar vi om ett bolag som har ungefär 300 000 anställda över hela världen. Så att det är väldigt, väldigt många bolag som slåss om det här. Så att det visar ju att just det här med att digitalisera, där är man långt framme, och i den vägen då kommer man även använda vår cloudlösning då i de nordiska länderna, i de nordiska företagen. En liten annan, nu hoppar vi till någonting helt annat, allmän information. Och för er som kör så känner ni säkert igen den här bilden, en skärmdumpen ifrån M3, där man kan se på månadsuppdateringarna. Ni ser här under sommaren så har vi då juni, juli, augusti, och då är det en sammanställning över vilka features som har kommit till. Och vi känner ju till att man har ju ändrat lite grann från info nu, så att man sparar ju de större sakerna till oktober- och aprilreleasen. Och det syns ju ganska tydligt när man tittar här att man har dragit ner en del på detta. Men jag vill ändå påpeka och informera er om då att när ni går in och tittar, till exempel som är här juliuppdateringen, så är det ju en hel del funktionalitet, till exempel nya API som kommer till och annat, och det kan man alltså då även lägga in under den här mellanperioderna mellan april och oktober. Och en del även togglade funktioner, till exempel inom finance-sidan som läggs till direkt, som ni ser. Så det finns alla anledningar att fortsätta även nu då titta in och se om det är någonting av det här som ni vill dra nytta av direkt då. Går jag vidare här ett snäpp så vill jag slå ett litet slag för den här intressanta informationen, Early Announcement, och som ju täcker en lång bit framåt i tiden, så här kan ni ju verkligen se sådant som kommer att komma igång. Så om ni inte redan prenumererar på den här KB:n, så se till att göra det, så får ni det här dokumentet uppdaterat månadsvis, där det står sammanställning över de nya funktionerna som kommer till exempel nu som kommer komma till i oktoberreleasen. Och jag har plockat ut då några exempel för att göra lite matnyttigt runt till exempel nya API Browse MI som ersätter då det gamla CS 990 MI. Vi har till exempel det här med övervakningen av micken och hur mycket processorkraft den drar, alltså att vi terminerar det för att inte skapa oreda. Och vi har även runt arkivering då, och framförallt är det här när det handlar om de tabeller i M3 som där man skapar mycket data som man bara är intresserad av under en kort tid, så städar vi upp. Det blir lite hygien i detta. Och är det så att man av någon anledning vill spara detta, så finns det ju möjligheten att automatiskt arkivera det. En annan sak som är på gång här, det är runt IDM:en. Den IDM för dokumenthantering, utskrifter av både rapporter och affärsdokument är ju har ju successivt utvecklats och blivit ett väldigt kraftfullt instrument. Och man vill ju också då samtidigt göra det lättare och lättare att underhålla alla de dokumenten man har, till exempel via templates. Så det här vet jag är någonting som de har efterfrågat länge från våran utvecklingssida just från M3 och pushat på IDM-gänget att ta fram detta, och nu är den på väg in. När det gäller API-er och API Gateway så har man också på allmän förfrågan sett till att man numera kan ha specialkaraktärer i key value som en key value som ingår i key value-delen för att öka säkerheten och förenkla runt detta. Och är nästan lite grann kopplat till vad vi ska prata om idag, till exempel Data Fabric, så har man då också gjort så att när man tittar på API-erna så kan man sortera upp dem i olika områden. För nycklarna då kan man plocka fram det som en egen del för att ha lättare kontroll över allting. Den här bilden har vi ju börjat använda mer och mer när det gäller just allting som har med extensibility tools att göra. Och vi har ju pratat mycket om under våren, både om experience design, och vi har pratat om nyheter inom bas, vi har pratat om app design och lite grann och så vidare. Den här gången så ska vi då titta lite mer på delar inom Infor OS, både på portalsidan där uppe och funktionerna här nere. Och när det gäller portal så är det ju nytt, det kommer vi att ersätta mingel. Så det kan ju vara intressant, och de av er som är igång har ju redan nu möjligheten att börja titta på det och testa det. Det kommer Amar att berätta om. Och sen så då även, det finns ju andra delar väldigt mycket runt data fabric och machine learning, artificiell intelligens, där det finns färdig funktionalitet, men vi upplever ju fortfarande att det är i sin linda att börja använda det och utnyttja det. Och en av anledningarna till det är ju att man kanske måste köra ett system och samla på sig data under 1 eller 2 år innan man kan verkligen dra nytta av det här. Men vi kommer väl tillbaka till det. So with that said, I will switch to English and welcome my guest, our guest, I would say, Amar, who is working in England. Good morning, Amar. And you have some very exciting information regarding Infor OS, I hope.
I hope, yes. Right. So before I
And
start, let's share my
maybe you will
screen.
take over. Exactly.
Yeah. Tell me when you can see that.
Yep, we see it.
Okay now.
Excellent. Good.
Yep.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. So, excuse me, just introduce myself, and then I'll go off camera just to conserve bandwidth. So my name's Amar, based out the UK. I manage the solution consulting technical team. And as the name applies, we kind of look after everything technical, you know, from Infor OS, from the cloud technical point of view, and also the different technical aspects of the different ERPs that we manage. You know, it's more than just M3. Obviously, Bjorn's the M3 expert here. So I'm going to go off camera just to conserve bandwidth. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat and we'll answer as we go along. And hopefully we'll have time for Q&A at the end as well. So let's start. Right. So I've thrown up a disclaimer because although I'm going to be talking about stuff that we already have, there's things that we are constantly enhancing. So obviously I'll be talking a little bit about roadmap, hence the disclaimer here. Okay, I'm going to start with a slide here. Okay, a serious looking gentleman here. Okay, Klaus Schwab, and he's founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum and came up with this quote, you know, in the new world, it is not the big fish which eats the small fish, it is the fast fish which eats the slow fish. Now, what does this really mean? Okay, this is really all about agility. In today's market where technology is changing so fast, economic conditions are changing so fast, you have to be on a platform that gives you the agility to be able to change and flex as the conditions around you change. And this is really the kind of the philosophy that we have to enable our customers through the ERPs and the technology foundation, i.e. Infor OS that we provide, give them that flexibility and that agility to change, to add new capability, to do whatever to keep ahead of the competition. And I'll refer back to this slide at the end. So I'm going to go through several things that have changed recently and things that we are constantly involving. And one of the biggest ones is the Infor OS portal. So the portal is effectively the user interface into Infor OS, and hopefully most of you are using this. This came out in April, and it replaces the Mingle interface that the existing customers may be used to. And you could argue, okay, things are roughly the same. You know, we have workspaces, which used to be called home pages. We have our smart panel, which used to be called the in context panel. We have our navigation menu, which used to be called the app switcher. So those kind of components are still there, if you like, but done in a completely new way to enable what we call hyper productivity. So although you still get home pages like you see on the screen here, and by the way, you'll get a copy of the slides, so you don't have to make notes of everything I'm saying. So as you see, you have a slide here, a screen showing a workspace with the widgets, just like the home pages you had before. You could have multiple home pages. We provide workspaces, sorry. We provide these out of the box, which widgets showing information from elsewhere within the cloud suite, other applications, third-party applications that have API access and so forth. But the difference now is the way that you interact. And we've made this very, very simple and very, very easy to move around. So you see, I'm in my screen here. I'm in my workspace for my daily work. And you'll see across the top now we have these tabs rather than going to the app switcher. So before, to go somewhere, I had to go into the app switcher, open something, and so on. Okay, so now I've opened another workspace. And you see I've got both workspaces. So this, for those people that already use Mingle, is typical to the dots, if you remember, across the top, where I could jump from workspace to workspace, or homepage to homepage, as it used to be known. So I can still do the same thing here. But the advantage now that you get is if I wanted to go to somewhere else, i.e. to an application, to M3 or to something else, I had to go to the app switcher, which took me away from the workspaces and going. But now you see, I just have a tab. I want to go into M3. I just go into my M3. Yeah. Obviously with the multiple tabs here, I need to go back to my home page or my workspace. I don't have to go to the app switcher like I did before here. I just click on the tab. So it's very, very easy to go between the different applications that I want to go to. And those applications could be multiple. So I want to go into my sales hub. Okay, as long as it's already across the tab at the top, very, very easy. So moving around becomes so much easier. We've also done the same thing with Infor OS, brought everything into one place. Okay, so I want to go document management, I'm straight in. I want to go into my iron stuff, I'm straight in. So again, what we've done is group those things together. So navigation becomes so much more easier. But more than that, I can bookmark now. We could bookmark before, but what you get now is a lot more capability. So before, so we got our workspaces. We'll talk about bookmarks in a second. Here's all my applications. So these are the applications within my cloud suite. So obviously this will vary between customers. You can move things up and down. But let's say I go into analytics quite often. So I'm going to open my analytics. Okay, defaults on my work page, my home page, sorry. But let's just say production is something that I go into all the time. So I'm going to open my production analytics page. And what I'm going to do here is bookmark it, okay, because this is something I go into quite often. So we'll do a bookmark. Okay, so give you whatever name, that's good enough for me. Okay, and for now, I'm going to close this. Okay, so back on my workspace here. So I'm going to go back into my ERP. So I'm working in my ERP. And for whatever reason, I need to see my production analytics. And before that meant I had to switch out and go somewhere else. Now I just call the bookmark. There it is. I'll go straight to it. So I look at whatever I need to look at. Okay, yep, I've seen the details. So now they want to go back into my ERP to do something. I just click on the tab and away we go. I want to go to a workspace. I just click on the tab and away we go. So the navigation is so much easier, so much quicker. I'm not having to go, leave an application to go workspace, leave a workspace to go to the application. So really, really cool. I can also pin my my tabs here. So when I log in the morning, I can decide what tabs I want to open automatically. So everything is ready for me to do my daily work. A lot of stuff on this screen here. So, obviously I can collapse things. So we're just going to collapse that under applications. But what I can also have is recently closed. So even though I have a bookmark something, I want to open something that I closed earlier. I just go off, find it, click on it, straight there. In this case, I was onto this particular document. So navigation from a workspace point of view, or from what we used to call the home pages point of view, is so much easier. Then when we get into the application itself, okay, so now we're talking about the smart panel. So again, you would know about this, we call it the in context panel. But what we've done here as well is enhanced it. So again, I'm in my application. Okay, I can bring the tab, the context widgets in and out. So again, here's my IDM widget at the top, which obviously we had before, in contextual information. So I don't have to open another screen to see my open POs for this customer. I can scroll up and down, but I don't want to scroll. So now what we've done is added the ability to resize it. And so now, rather than having to scroll up and down my widgets, I can resize to see all the information I want in one go. But this is taking up half my screen. So now what I can also do is pop it out. And if I've got a second monitor, move that to the second monitor. So now I have one monitor that is completely dedicated to my ERP, another one which will be dedicated to my widgets which are constantly changing in context. So again, from a productivity point of view, enhances everything because all the information I need is there on the screens at hand. So here, I'm in customers, so you can see that as I go from items to customers, my in-context widgets will change accordingly. All the widgets you see here are standard, other than this one here. So you can create your own widgets. You can add your widgets in. So this is actually calling ChatGPT. So any application that has REST API capability can have its information shown here. And because this is something that's not standard, this is why we've thrown up the disclaimer, okay, just to prove that we can do it. So what we've done here really with the portal is enhance the way the users interact. Now, hopefully you're already using this because this came out in April. So for those customers that are not, this is essentially how you get to it. So the first thing is that any new customer that was deployed or is going to be deployed after April will only have Infor OS portal. There'll be no mingle interface. Okay, so basically what we've shown. For those existing customers, so those that were deployed prior to April 2023, you can try it out, and I'll show you on the next screen how to try it, but you will have to switch over by April 24. So you can do your testing, you can do your playing. We have the ability to allow you to migrate your content from the Mingle interface to the OS portal interface. You can do that multiple times. Ideally, you do that in your test or development tenants. We've enabled all our tenants to be in trial mode, so that's fine. Once you're happy with your migration, so all the widgets that you've created, the home pages are working nicely in workspaces, you basically just say, okay, I'm doing a migration. It is now finalized. And from that point on, you can't go back to Mingle. But until then, you can use Portal, you can use Mingle, absolutely no problem. As I said, it needs to be done by April 2024, because at that point, we will be retiring the Mingle interface. And how do you use it? Very simple. You have a URL already that you use to access your tenant. All you need to do is put in v2/ in lowercase before the tenant ID, and basically that is it. So you want to use the old interface, use that URL. You want to use a new one, use that URL until you've said finalized, and then from that point onwards, you just use that. Obviously, for any new customers, you don't have to worry about this because you only have the portal interface. We've also then obviously made sure that all the other applications are kind of in line. So Infor Go, our mobile application, also understands the new Infor OS portal. So the look and feel you get on the mobile device will kind of match what you get on your desktop and laptops. And the link here gives you details of all the administration and using guides. So you know how to do the migrations, what you need, how to use the smart panel, how you can actually copy widgets from a workspace to a smart panel. Is effectively almost a copy and paste. So users can create their own smart panels with whatever they need, with multiple what we call insight groups. So one set of widgets that are showing me information may be related to kind of order type stuff if I'm on a customer, but I want another set of widgets without having to move away from the customer screen that show me things related to maybe contractual stuff. So another set of widgets, and that's what we call insight groups. So you don't have to have a smart panel with hundreds of widgets on it. It just makes it very, very simple. So this was all really about the productivity of the user, of how they interact with the application and get the information that they need. The other big thing that we came out really with this, with the April release, is what we call streaming pipelines. And we're kind of enhancing that with Lakehouse. So that's what I'm going to talk about now. So with stream pipelines, we've always had the data lake. You could always push information into the data lake. Obviously from M3, it used to kind of micro batch it and push it across, but you could also do uploads, bulk uploads. We had an API, but that wasn't really the same as doing streaming, i.e. real time. So we've added streaming ingestion into our data fabric to allow you to stream data constantly from multiple sources. Okay, gives you kind of lots of benefits here. So real-time data collection and analytics, scalability. So the streaming allows you to handle high volumes of data coming into our data fabric, and it kind of reduces what we call data latency. Okay, from that's the time from when you had a piece of data to when you actually have access to it within our data fabric. So that's one side of the equation, stuff coming into Infor. Then what we added in April was more capability. So this is streaming pipelines, essentially stuff going out of Infor in real time. And what this allowed you to do was, with the streaming pipeline, have a pipe, if you like, from beginning to end, real-time streaming all the way through the infrastructure. And the benefits here are real-time reporting, and we already obviously have this within the ERP, but if you're combining this with other information, that becomes more of a problem, because pushing into the data lake, you have the time latency or the data latency, so you can't really do operational reporting from the data lake. Analytics is fine because that's not really time sensitive, but when you want to do real-time reporting, you need a way to get data from multiple sources into one place in real time, as close to real time as possible, and I'll explain a bit more on the next slide. Obviously, this gets around one of the problems that we have, the challenges that customers have in what they call a freshness of data for functional users. So rather than having data just within the ERP, have the data somewhere else, which may be augmented with information from other sources available to you, whether it be through a dashboard, whether it be through a report, whether it be through analytics. So if we kind of look at it in an overall point of view, when you're looking at data movement within our platform, there's three major areas. You have your data consumers at the end, okay? You have the data sources, which obviously feed that, and you have Infor OS in the middle. Within Infor OS, as you already know, okay, we have our data fabric, okay, so our data lake, big data platform with data management capabilities over it. So we have our data sources, okay, could be Infor, whether in the cloud or on premise, okay, could be third-party systems. You'll notice that I have little caveats against all of these, okay, and that will pop across the bottom as we go through. But obviously, it depends on the ability of the application to be able to use the various methods that we have. So the first thing is, which we already have, you want to push information in. We have that capability, multiple sources, either through IMS, the data flows, using batch ingestion, using our data upload, APIs and so forth into our data lake. And as you can see from the legend here, these are typically micro-batched or near real time. So they're not real time. It could be a few minutes, could be 10 minutes. It really depends on what the micro-batching is. Then we have our data consumers. So these are the applications that want to use that data. Okay, and again, it could be Infor. Okay, so our enterprise performance management, for example, uses the data lake at the moment. Info analytics, i.e. Burst, pulls information out of the data lake. You may have other applications within the cloud suite, or you may build something using Mongoose, which using data lake as a data source. But you also have third-party consumers, okay? Your own BI tools that you may want to continue using, your Power BI, Tableau, Click, whatever it happens to be. So obviously the data in the data lake, we give you access to that through our query platform, so JDBC and APIs. So we can pull the information out, not a problem. For those applications that you have here, your own third party, if you have the capability, okay, and the right tools to be able to pull the information, you don't need anything else. But we also have a ETL tool. Okay, now that again, as you can see, it's starred because it's an optional license. So other than that, everything else is included. What that allows you to do is very easily get that information out. So although you can use Tableau, ClickView, or whatever to get the information, so query the data lake, query the schemas, so you can build your own data warehouse, pull records, based on deltas, based on variations, based on security. You have to manage all that yourself. The ETL tool just does it all for you. Does it all, just dumps it all into a data warehouse, and you just read from that data warehouse as normal. So it makes it very easy. But again, this is near real time or batched. So this is where then we added streaming ingestion. So streaming ingestion, real-time data going into the our data fabric. Okay, so that's actually part of the Infor OS as it is. Streaming pipelines is an extra. Okay, so that's again, as you can see, starred. Okay, so there's a license. What this allows you to do, or allows us to do, is push that information real time straight to a third-party cloud database. And at the moment, we are supporting Postgres SQL. Okay, so that's Amazon Aurora PostgreSQL and Azure PostgreSQL. We're adding connectors for Snowflake, Amazon RDS or SQL Server, Azure SQL Server, and Redshift. And then over time, we'll add more and more connections. And what we're also planning to do is providing a SDK, a software development kit, so you can create your own connectors. But this will allow information to be streamed real time directly to a third-party cloud database, which maybe then you are using your tools over. In the case of M3, absolutely brilliant, because M3 supports streaming ingestion. So you can go either way. Once you've turned streaming ingestion on, what it will do is real-time stream to the data fabric. So at the moment, until you turn it on, essentially what it's doing is micro-batching. So it's sending information in micro-batches, which may take a minute. Once the data in the micro-batch, I think, reaches a meg or 5 meg, that's when it sends it. So there is always a bit of a latency. But once you turn on streaming ingestion, transaction by transaction, it will send it across to Infor OS. That data then can also be pushed to the data lake. So real-time streaming across. Okay, there will be a data latency as it pushes it into the data lake, but once that information hits the data lake, you can then also pull that out in streaming pipelines. So this gives you the benefit of doing both options. You know, some data may be real time that you need, some data may be near real time, so you can pick what you want. So that's how things stand at the moment. Come October, we are going to be releasing Lakehouse. Again, this is an optional license. So this is data warehouse as a service. It will have an operational data store. Okay, with business data models, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a second. And streaming pipelines can push information straight to the data lake. So the data lake, sorry, to the lakehouse. So the lakehouse will be real-time data warehousing for information that is pushed in through streaming ingestion. It can be complemented by any data that's in the data lake. Okay, so obviously it can read from the Compass Q platform, and then data here will be made available through the APIs or JDBC to multiple sources. So in the case of if you're using your own BI tool, for example, you could say that you don't need a data warehouse on premise anymore because your tool will essentially use this as its data warehouse. That will then also have additional capability that we add in or we'll constantly be adding to the Lakehouse. Okay, you know, data security and metagraph, as well as something called the Lakehouse Data Orchestrator. And what this really will do is that because you've got multiple consumers pulling information from the Lakehouse, you want to make sure that those consumers know that something's changed. So if a scheme has changed within the ERP, you know, you've added a custom field or whatever, or table, that information is pulled in, pushed into the lakehouse, or you push other information into the lakehouse, or you create your own business data models, or we create our own data models. We want to make sure that the applications that are using that understand that change has happened. So the orchestrator will essentially, has something changed here? Yes. Oh, okay. I need to update things in these applications so they know stuff has changed. So everything is reading from the same hymn sheet, if you like. Now, where that sits in the overall architecture is to give you really more data, more curated data, fully governed to do those business intelligence and operational reporting. So the Lakehouse, sorry, the data lake exists. It always will exist. You know, it is raw data. We just dump data in it. It could be any format. It's unstructured. It's suitable, you know, for storing vast amounts of different types of data, historical data, because obviously every variation of a change that happens in the ERP drops here. So really, really good, but not good for operational reporting. So the Lakehouse will give you the operational data store, ODS, okay, real-time repository, consolidate information from info and non-info sources, make it structured, okay, so you can do the operational reporting and so forth. And then what really we'll be doing on top of that is then giving you predefined data models. So we will be building data models over that information. So rather than just tables in a database, if you like, proper views of that table. You know, this is an order view, customer view, which may be pulling information in from multiple tables and displaying it in a logical format that you can then use for reporting and analytics. And our goal here is essentially this, is to have now what we call data insights. So one platform with these industry data models that provide operation reporting, predictive analytics, budgeting planning, financial reporting, dashboards, all from one source, so one single view of the truth that is available for whatever you need and have a consistent user interface over the top of it. So no matter what you're trying to do, how you're trying to access the data, it looks, it feels the same, it is the same. It could be info, it could be non-info, it could be augmented by both. So you know exactly what is going on within your organization. That's our view of where we want to go with this. So the Lakehouse itself is coming out in October. Okay, it is what we call a control availability release. So we're working with early adopters. So it's not going to be available to all users. We want to make sure it's all right before we make it GA. And what we're doing, as I said earlier, is we're putting those industry data models, you know, the business data models on top of it. And we're starting with food and beverage. if anything, M3 is in a very good position because M3 adopts everything first within Infor almost. So they are very much on the ball. Okay, so food and beverage is where we're starting. We're going to be adding more cloud suites, distribution, fashion, and so on and so forth, equipment and whatever as we go through. So predefined models, okay, that can be extended. Obviously, users will be able to create their own models. And once those models are set up, you can access them through our analytics or your own BI tools, just like any data warehouse. So the planned timelines, hence the disclaimer that I put right at the beginning, is the operational data store. So once the early adopters have finished playing with it, the operational data store part of it, where you can add your own models and so forth, we plan limited availability in April next year and general availability in October of next year. The industry models, so the food and beverage that we're starting with, plus the other ones, limited availability in October next year, and then general availability in the following April. So that's our plan timelines for this. And the reason I've thrown this up is that if you are looking at doing long-term analytics or maybe planning an infrastructure for these kind of things, you're now aware of where we're going to. So maybe you can factor these into your decisions. So another thing that we have is the industry process catalog, or what used to be known as the Info Process Intelligence. So these were a collection of complete business process solutions, okay, that we provide against, as you can see, all of our cloud suites. Obviously, M3 sits at the top bit here. Okay, so industry best practice that we provide has standard with all our cloud suites that you can extend then to meet your specific needs. And what you're seeing on the screen is the distribution example. But what it's doing is, so what we're doing is we're providing these as standard out of the box, the different roles, how to configure end-to-end business processes. So I'm looking at order to cash. It shows you the process. Obviously, I can zoom in, I can zoom in, I can move things around. I'm interested in a particular point. So I'm looking at monitoring orders. Let's go back to order to cash. Okay, process customer orders. So it actually shows you the process again, which you can change, but more than just show you a graph, it actually gives you details. It will also take you to the screen. So in this particular instance, my order screen, because that's relevant to that particular step. It also allows you to download additional information. So everything about what the concept is, how you set orders up in this instance, the steps you have to take, what you need to take into account. So we're giving you a lot of information around the various steps that you can provide, that we provide as industry standards. And as I said, you can change this and amend it as required. So that's the process modeling to change it. Now the process mining, okay, this is a capability we're bringing on the roadmap, takes it to the completely next level. So although we provide, here's a process that you need to do, okay, obviously, which you can change, the real value comes in, are my users actually following that process? Okay, are they conforming to their process? So has things happened within the cloud suite? Obviously, that information is pushed into the data lake, which is then obviously can be pushed into the lake house. We can take that information and compare the processes that are happening with the diagrams that you see. So are people conforming? Are people deviating? But also, are we efficient? So, has an industry standard. So we will have benchmarks. On average, for example, it takes 10 minutes to process a customer invoice, let's just say. Looking at the information within the ERP that you have, it may be in your instance, you are taking 15 minutes. Okay, so why are you taking longer? Now, is that because your process is inefficient? It may be because that's just how the business works. But more than that, you can also compare departments. Department A is taking 12 minutes, Department B is taking 14 minutes. Why they're taking longer? And again, it could be the process is different, or maybe it's just that they're not fully on board with training or whatever. So you can then start to make sure that those departments become more efficient. What we're then planning to do, obviously with the approval of our customers, is take anonymous information from our cloud suites. So rather than saying has an industry standard, it takes 10 minutes to do a purchase, a customer invoice, it is our other cloud suite customers in food and beverage, in distribution, in fashion, in equipment, or whatever, your industry are taking 9 minutes to do an invoice. And then you can compare yourself with your peers who are using the same application, the same platform. Maybe they're doing things in a more efficient way, or maybe not. But again, it allows you to streamline your business. So that's what this is for. Now, part of this, if you're talking about streamlining and making things more efficient, is going through automation. Now, we call this enterprise automation, and lots of people use the term hyper automation. So hyper automation, enterprise automation, what's the difference? Actually, it's nothing really. It's just the wording. Hyper automation is a Gartner term. So rather than using a Gartner term, we've just come up with more of a kind of industry term that we want to use, enterprise automation. But what it is, it's not just automating the process, it is using multiple technologies to orchestrate automation. So that could be using machine learning. Okay, it could be using events within the application. You may getting Mech to do stuff. Process management, process catalogs, using integration, using things like Mongoose, our no-code tools. And then using RPA, or robotic process automation itself, to do something. So bringing all these together, and that RPA is what we released in April. So that, along with Infor OS, completes what we call our hyper automation capabilities. And this kind of makes us unique in the market, because from an automation point of view, we started this quite a while ago. Okay, so we did what we call backend automation. So this is our integration platform as a service, or ION, as you may know it. So, event driven workflows, document flows, using notifications, typically with a bit of human interaction. We then augmented that with our decision automation. So this was our machine learning and AI. You would have known this as Coleman. So taking that backend automation and making it more intelligent. And then what we've added now is what we call labor centric. Okay, so this is the front end automation. So how do we manage those repetitive tasks that people do? I open a screen, I click on this, I click on that, I may go to a website and do something, I bring that information in, I fill a field, I do something else. That's a pain. Okay, I'm clicking here, clicking there, doing this, and I do this constantly because I'm doing this all day. Wouldn't it be nice if I could just automate those manual steps? And that's what RPA will do. But RPA then will also take that into account with everything else that we have, the backend automation and the decision automation. So not just imitate what a user does, but then also enhance it by using machine learning and maybe doing some integration in the background. So taking those tasks that I do, adding the capability of Infor OS that I have. Okay, so not just integration, maybe pull like a document from IDM. Maybe, as I said, machine learning, maybe do something with process intelligence, maybe fire off a workflow as part of this, maybe show something in my workspace, but bring all that capability of Infor OS as well. And that really gives us the capability of providing something that is more than just what people assume has hyper automation. So the benefits, okay, and again, I have a star here because RPA is an additional license, as you can see, okay. But rather than employees performing those repetitive, boring, if you like, data entry, bookkeeping processes, which can also be error prone, if you're constantly doing things on a screen, you may input the wrong information, is get intelligence to do it, get RPA to do it. So massive cost savings, because people, something that may take 30 minutes to do, put RPA over it, it'll take 30 seconds to do, for example. Replace those repetitive tasks. We also, as part of that, have something called intelligent document processing. Okay, so that allows you to OCR information in and bring that information in as part of the RPA. So again, take out those error-prone tasks, those boring tasks away from the user. So now you're competitive because your workforce is focused on not those boring things, but more high-value tasks and innovation to increase the revenue and customer satisfaction. Result, very fast, reliable, what we call virtual workforce. Okay, you can schedule this to run in the background. You can do it in real time, with user interaction. But again, because you're taking that boring stuff away, you're attracting your talent. You don't want new people coming in and thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be sitting here putting in, customer orders minute after minute after minute. Let the system do that for you and get those new people or existing users to do more productive stuff, more interesting stuff. So from an automation point of view, What we believe here is we have massive benefits because you have one platform that covers everything. So the kind of challenges that we have, or that we see when we come across showing this to users, is that they haven't gone down this route because they have different tools and they don't work together very well. Okay, so even if they're from the same supplier, they tend to be different tools. If they're from different suppliers, it's even difficult or more difficult. But we have one platform where everything understands everything else. It all works together, so it's easy. They may not have the right people to build automation. I'm not quite sure what I need to do and how I need to do it. Well, again, we can help here. So we have a innovation support services team. Okay, and then for a subscription, they can work with you to identify what it is you want to do and actually build it with you. Okay, so you understand how to use the tools that we provide. So then you become self-sufficient. What are the processes that I have to automate? Okay, again, not quite sure. So what we have also done is we've built out of the box content, and we continue to do this for our cloud suites. So the cloud suites will come with predefined content, RPA content already built in. And all you need to do then is tweak this for your particular processes. We'll also be putting stuff into the marketplace, which I'll talk about later on. Now, people say, oh, okay, these things sometimes fail because I'm running it on my server. My server may not be available. I have to run it on a client. Well, actually, all this runs in the Infor cloud. So it's all running on our AWS platform. So you've got reliable performance and scalability. And then finally, people say, okay, oh, yeah, all this stuff is cool, but it's actually quite expensive and I can't justify the investment to get the value back. Well, we have a very flexible pricing model, okay, that allows you to develop however many bots, so those automated processes. We don't care about the number of developers. You can have as many as you want of those. We just basically charge by really the number of minutes that this stuff is running. So you know exactly what you're buying. And again, because we are providing this stuff out of the box for a lot of our cloud suites, a lot of the capabilities already within Infor OS, you know exactly what you're paying for, and you'll be able to figure out what the value is. So a little bit about backend as a service, something else we released. Okay, so this provides a full API lifecycle platform. So what this will allow your developers, this is more of a developer tool rather than an end user tool, allows you to build standalone serverless cloud native microservices and expose them as REST APIs. So what we're doing is we're taking our API gateway and we basically put it on steroids. So not only can you get information out of the cloud suite, you can build your own processes, okay, or functions as a service, that's what FAAS is, and expose them as APIs. So APIs with logic behind it, with a database behind it, be able to run it on any cloud. Okay, so it's not just AWS, you can run it in Azure, you can run it anywhere once. Sorry, you build the API once, run it wherever you want. Oops, sorry, gone the other way. Okay, so as part of that, you actually get managed storage for that information. So it doesn't have to be linked to M3, doesn't have to be linked to anything else within your cloud suite. You can essentially build a standalone application with compute capacity over it, with security over it, and with managed execution. So it could be event-driven or schedule-driven. So hide the complexity of the underlying cloud provider and just let your developer focus on, okay, I need to provide this information, or I need to run this particular process to pull information out from somewhere and do something, and we provide the platform for you to do that. Okay, so just a little bit about you can provide a service where you have dynamic lookup tables, so you can use it as part of a workflow, you can use it as part of an integration. So obviously use it as part of RPA as well if you want. So use it as part of our standard Infor services, but again, could be completely separate to do whatever you need to do. Part of exit points, customize our Iron APIs. So maybe we provide an API, but you want to put a bit more logic on top of it or enhance it. So already we have orchestration of APIs already. This again just takes it to the next level, and also create your own functionality. So you can create maybe product catalogs that you want be made available to your customers. This then kind of leads on to making things intelligent. Okay, so obviously that we have a machine learning platform, aka Coleman, that we've provided as part of Infor OS for a while. But then what we're also doing is providing a service called augmented intelligence to take that to the next level. So allow you to actually use the technology that we provide. And the reason we do this is, even though we provide that capability, so we provide Infor OS, Infor OS, Coleman as part of Infor OS, people are wary of using it because they think, I need specialist skills to be able to use this. I don't really understand what kind of use case I need. And if I do, I don't have the experience to be able to build it. I don't have the core skills. So I'm going to have to hire somebody, a data scientist and so forth. It may take me a while to actually build all this. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to get the, return on investment. I have to get information from multiple places. So how do I handle the integration to do that? And then once I get that data, how do I know it's the right data? How do I clean the data up so it works together well? What tools do I use? Okay, does Info provide everything, or do I have to go to other places? And then also, once I've built something, how do I manage that? So there's lots of different areas where people think, oh, there's too many barriers to me actually using this. And this is where it kind of leads to this. Yeah, that's why people don't do this. They may not have the right people, they may not have the right processes, or identify the processes they need, the technologies that they need to use. So when they do something like that, it costs a lot of money. And it takes a lot of time. Now, obviously, with the platform that we have, it's not as bad as this because we give you that platform. We have a nice user interface over it, but you still have the problem of, what do I use it for and what skills do I need? And that's where the data science as a service comes in. So we have a team that understand this completely. They do this day in, day out with different customers in different industries over different use cases. So they can rapidly create advantage for you by leveraging the power of the data that you have. And that's data, whether it's info data, whether it's non-info data, whether it's in the cloud, whether it's on premise, doesn't matter. Data is data. We can get that data, we can push it into the cloud, and we can do stuff with it. And because we've done this multiple times, we can do this very effectively from a cost point of view. Okay, and we can work with you to tell you this is the return on investment that you will get. So the service that we provide, it's a very low upfront investment. Okay, we'll talk about this in a second. Very, very quick to deploy. Typically, we do it in well under 8 weeks. So we sit with you. Okay, what is the issue that you have? What is it you're trying to solve? Let's look at your data. Right, this is what we need to do. This is where we have to get the data from. This is how we clean it. This is we'll build a model. And this is how we deploy it. All license based. And what we provide is obviously the expertise, the people that know what to do, high velocity because we can deliver very, very quickly, and the value. But more than this, it's not just, oh, what's your problem? We'll take it away. We'll do something. We'll come back. We deploy it. Okay, bye-bye. And away we go. No, what we do is we sit with you and work with you so you actually understand how to use the tools that we have provided as part of Infor OS so you can become self-sufficient. And this is a key thing with everything that we do with Infor OS. We want our customers to be self-sufficient and make use of the tools themselves with the knowledge that we provide, okay, and obviously our partners provide, rather than always having to come back to us. So it's more than just providing a tool set. It's more than just providing the end solution. It is providing a service so you can go forward. And the kind of business benefits, it's across the board. Okay, whether it's improving efficiency through your processes, reducing costs through asset intelligence, maximizing the life of assets, predictive analysis, for example, forecasting, prediction in the future, predicting future demand, forecast accuracy, and so forth. Intelligence on your customers. What are the insights so I can service my customer better? Obviously, that makes them happy. If they're happy, they're going to come back and buy more, hopefully. Am I pricing things correctly based on markets, based on seasonality, based on what's happened in the past? And obviously people as well, okay, care about your employees. How am I managing the employees that I have? Am I using them efficiently, from a labor point of view? Are they satisfied with what they're doing? And if they are, I retain them rather than having a high customer churn or employee churn. So again, lots of business problems that we can help with. And it is very, very easy from a subscription point of view. So all we do is we just base it on the number of predictions. So you have a scenario. Our team will work with you and say, okay, based on what you want to do and how you want to use that model, how many times you call that prediction, you are one of these 4 levels. Obviously, the more predictions you have, it's likely you're going to be doing more processing. So you may have to be on a different level of Infor OS, but that's what they do. So what the team will do is, okay, this is what you need to do. Essentials may be more than fine, or no, okay, actually you might need to move to professional, or as you hopefully you know that with Infor OS you can buy bundles, so you can stay on essentials and just buy another bundle of maybe data lake, another bundle of machine learning capacity. Okay, so very much and I forgot the word now. It's gone on my brain, but mix and match, very much mix and match. All that will have to happen is that obviously new customers will be on the new license model anyway. Anybody that's on the Infor OS license model prior to Q2 of 2022 will be converted to the new model. So we just do an uplift of your license model to the new license model, and the new license model includes Infor OS machine learning capability as standard. Okay, that used to be an extra before. Okay, so you just get the license and we work with you. So almost there. I'm going to talk a bit about the marketplace. So this is something else that we released, and this is somewhere where Info and partners can market content. So somebody may build something. I think, you know what, actually, this is a good idea. This is something really cool that other customers could use. So you can put this on the marketplace. Obviously, Info will validate it. Will validate it. But you can go to the marketplace. You can filter by various things, by ERP, by technology, by product. Gives you a list of examples. I can search for things. So I'm looking for Excel in this instance. So it's showing me, oh, there's an add-on for Excel to allow me to do bulk updates. You can see all the information here. Gives you a lot of information how it's used. And a lot of this will be free. So you just say, okay, download, you deploy to your tenant. Some of these things may be cost. Some of these things maybe has a package. So, a partner's built something. Let's just say simple thing, a workflow or integration. Here you go. You just download it, you put it into on, and away you go. Some of these may be a bit more. Maybe it's a widget. Okay, so maybe you just deployed this widget, it's fine, but this widget may require some data setup. It may require other things you need to do. So what partners can do is actually provide that as a package. Okay, so it's content with added services. And where we want to get to with this is then also extend it for customers. So as a customer, if you build something and you think, actually, you know what, this is quite cool, and maybe I can make money off it by selling to other customers, the marketplace then becomes a conduit for that. So, almost on time. Okay, just to summarize, what we are providing with, obviously the cloud suite, with M3 has the core and Infor OS as a technology platform, is a foundation. Okay, and that foundation is all about value. So if you look at the chart here, we have a chart here. We got value against cost, speed against time, and what it's about is giving you the right base. Now, obviously, you will have that. You've acquired the ERP. Obviously, you have M3. Software as a service. You've got iPaaS, our integration platform. You've got data fabric, and so on and so forth. That then gives you a platform to build on. Once you start building on that platform, you see you're getting quicker value at a lower cost, your exponential rise, but you're also getting things done quickly. Okay, so once you've got that, start using your workspaces, start using your dashboards, your real-time monitoring, so you can visualize the information that you have and make decisions on that. Use things like the streaming pipeline, use the business intelligence to start analyzing, so you get to a diagnostic point of view, analyzing the information you have, getting the right insights to that. Now you're getting even more and more intelligent with it. So now optimizing the information that you have, becoming predictive with things like artificial intelligence, advanced process control, the process intelligence, the process catalog, all the way to prescriptive, becoming autonomous, using things like machine learning, our data mining, hyper automation to automate, to make things efficient automatically, to continuously enhance and make your processes more and more efficient. So as you go up this tree, because you've got the right foundation, you are getting added benefit quickly. So what we call incremental work, getting exponential gain. And what all this leads to is, if you remember my first slide, okay, the class's quote is this. So this is what makes you efficient. This is what makes you that fast fish, okay, to get ahead of the competition, to lead the competition and really enhance your business. Right, and that is me. Okay, I'm not sure how we're doing on time. So we
Actually, we're 3
so we
minutes
can open up for
after
questions.
11 now.
Aha, okay. Obviously, I can't see the chat, so I don't know if there's any questions in the chat.
Yeah, I can't see any. Can you, Lena?
No, sorry, no questions in the chat.
Okay, so either everyone's gone to sleep or I've answered everything.
I don't think so. I've actually, it was a hell of a lot of information, Amar, and very, very interesting. And of course, I think it's a good thing actually that Lena have recorded this, so a lot of people can look at it in slow motion.
Yes.
Because to follow through. But I think, Lena, what we want to say as an ending of today is that I'm sharing my screen now, I hope.
Yes. Yep.
Yes. And then I also mentioned about the M3 Connect, you know, the technical event that we will have around M3 in Stockholm. But I'm sorry to say that now it's already full. So when I checked this up this morning, I got this note. So we can't actually do promotion for it, but it shows us very clearly that you are all interested in M3 technology and how to use these things that Amar have talked about right now. So that's the good news, I would say. And hopefully we will also, and that is even more important, that we will meet physically in 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time in Oslo. And then we will have the Infoteam-dagarna. Och då switchar jag väl till svenska. Så att, och då kommer vi att ta med oss en del av de sakerna som när det gäller integration och annat som Amar pratade om, kommer vi att visa live för er som är intresserade av det på Teknikhörnan. Och det är bara en liten del av allt spännande som kommer att presenteras där. Eller hur, Lena?
Det är bra, Björn, tack. Vi har fortsatt noen dager igjen med å registrere deg på denne uken også, tenker jeg, og så må vi kanskje sette en strek. Men dere er hjertelig velkomne. Vi har per i dag 265 deltagere, så det er jo ganske bra. Men det är plass till flera.
Det är gott.
Yes.
Och det här är inte fullsatt, så här har vi chans att komma till.
Nej, inte helt fullt. Vi är nog närmare sig. Okay.
So,
thanks for your help, Amar.
Thanks, everybody.
And I think you also will send the presentation, so
yes,
everyone that's interested in that one.
Yes, yeah. Once everybody's had a lie down to digest everything I've told them.
I will put everything on the website now during the day, or when I get the presentations from you. Thank you so much for your help, both of you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.